And hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday evening's duo dive slot. We've got Katie from Vintage and Vinyl and I are once again hosting a duo dive. And how you doing tonight, Katie?
I'm doing fantastic, and happy early St. Patrick's Day to everybody. This is going to be really fun.
Absolutely. We obviously picked a topic for the evening that was timely. We did not land directly on St. Patrick's Day, but we figure, people want to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, so we need to do this a day in advance. And if we're going to talk about St. Patrick's Day, the only person we could think of to talk about and talk to about it is Cyndi from Mimi's Treasure Cottage. So Cyndi is joining us. How are you doing tonight, Cyndi?
I'm great. I'm a little tired.
Yes, it's been a long day today. If you don't follow her channel, she actually already was online earlier this evening for her live sale, and then also a special themed St. Patrick's Day trivia night with about a dozen resellers, including Katie and me. So we a bunch of people participated, helped Cyndi celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and we're just turning it into a much longer evening and now dragging Cyndi into a discussion and a show and tell about her collection. So do a couple really quick hellos to some of the people that are in the chat. We got Tim coming in. Actually, I'm assuming St. Patrick's Day is celebrated everywhere, so you'll have to tell us, Tim, how big it is in Canada. Blackberry Thistle Tea. We got Kathy coming in. Cheryl Ross, also from Canada. Sarah joining us. Hi, Sarah. Sherry Edwards. Amy has joined us as well. Vinny's coming in from Maryland. And let's see, we got Katie, of course. So I have a handful of people coming in to join us. And this is a live, if you're watching it right now, it's a live chat. If you're watching it later, you can follow the live chat in the live chat section, or you can just be enjoying the video, whichever you prefer. So if you did not catch Cyndi earlier this evening, she did kind of give a little primer, and actually it was one of the trivia questions of why why St. Patrick's Day is a big thing for her. But I'm going to assume people have not seen that, and let Cyndi kind of introduce herself and then talk about kind of how you started your St. Patrick's Day collection.
All right, so yeah, it was a trivia question tonight on my channel, but
a trivia question that I got wrong. I was close, but I got wrong.
Got it. I was really proud because I thought, when I saw your answer, Patrick, I thought, Patrick's right. I messed it up, and then I turned out to be right. So yay!
Yeah, my mom was born on St. Patrick's Day. So while we're not Irish, my mom used to always say that we were honorary Irish because she was born on St. Patrick's Day. So I grew up with my mom always dressing up for St. Patrick's Day, always decking herself out with St. Patrick's Day jewelry and different things, as a way to celebrate her birthday. So she always would go out. We would go out for dinner as a family. Mom would always get green beer. So it was always a thing for us. And so when I started getting into vintage, which was, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so ago, of course I gravitated anytime I saw St. Patrick's Day because of my mom, well, actually, maybe was it longer than that ago? I lost my mom in 2013. And so when you go through that, basically it's a big change in life, but it kind of draws you even closer. So every time I saw St. Patrick's Day, it made me think of my mom. So I would go out and pick it up. And as I got more and more into the vintage, then I, started looking, more and more for what I could find. And it's hard to find, as you guys, I'm sure, are aware.
It absolutely is. And particularly if you're trying to get true vintage. So
yes.
When you started, were you trying to replicate things that you remembered from your childhood and your mother, or was it just the theme?
Just a theme, I think. Mom didn't, she had a few things that were, mass produced perhaps that she had, but she didn't have a lot of tchotchkes. My mom didn't have a lot of things, knickknacks and whatever. So mostly what my mom had that she did was she dressed in green and she wore green jewelry and maybe some St. Patrick's Day pins or brooches or whatever like that. And between my sister and I, we split up a bunch of that, but I have quite a few things of hers still. But yeah, so basically everything else is just because it's an homage to my mom. It brings back memories. But when I saw your thumbnail earlier about the decor, I thought, well, that's a good way to kind of do this, because really this is not I don't know much about any of this stuff other than I love it and I have a lot of it and I can tell you what I know and I can share it with you and we can all love the vintage St. Patrick's Day together. But
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, in some cases, well, what we also find when both Katie and I, as we've hosted these, is that the people that we talk to will say, oh, I don't really know anything about it. But you do, because you run across it. I may see it once or twice, and I might even see it more often, but because I'm not specifically looking for it, I don't even know what's more common, what might be more valuable, what are the types of things. So when you started, building that vintage collection, do you remember what some of the first pieces were that you bought?
no.
That's okay.
I don't remember half the time what I had for breakfast.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really surprising if No, I really don't. I mean, it's easier for me to tell you the newer things to my collection than it is for me to tell you what started my collection. I don't really remember. But anyway, going back to the decor thing. So I saw your thumbnail on decor, and as I was pulling this stuff today from my mantle to bring it here, I thought, I'll bring it kind of the way I have it there. So just to let all of your viewers know, if they don't already follow my channel, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I have a video dropping on my channel that will show you my decor as it is set up on my mantle, which is where I decorate for St. Patrick's Day and many other holidays. But I'll show all of it and the way I have it displayed and all of that sort of thing. So that's at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I have the individual pieces here to share with you. I have a couple of little things of decor the way I display things, because with St. Patrick's Day being so hard to find vintage St. Patrick's Day, if you love to decorate with vintage, you kind of have to think outside the box. So while I do have a lot of actual vintage St. Patrick's Day, I do have a lot of things that are not specifically St. Patrick's Day, but that I have pulled into my decor so that I can augment and make a more interesting display. And then some different things that I have used in unusual ways. So,
and before you start pulling, for those who may not be familiar with your channel, can you tell us where you are at? Because you say you pulled things from home or from your mantle. So, but you have a little display behind you. So if you could talk a little bit about your background on that.
So I actually I'm an artist, and I have an art studio / vintage boutique in Hudson, Ohio. It's a little second floor area I share with a few other people have offices here. And it is open to the public, but I don't have set hours. But primarily, I'm a YouTube channel. That's what I tell people when they come up here. I'm a YouTube channel who just happens to open my doors to let you come in and buy stuff. So I sell my art here. I also have an art channel. So Cyndi Duncan Art, spelled the way I spell it right there, Cyndi. And then Duncan is Duncan. Cyndi Duncan Arts is my art channel. Typically, I just post vlogs over there, usually once a week. And so it's actually kind of a way to get a behind the scenes of Mimi's Treasure Cottage too, because I don't really do vlogs on Mimi's Treasure Cottage. So the other one kind of gives a behind the scenes of both. But sometimes most of the times there's some sort of an art element involved. Sometimes I share my process on things. Sometimes I just share the business side of the art stuff, putting together stuff. So anyway, that's my other channel. That's where I'm at, is my vintage boutique / art studio. And this is kind of my YouTube area. But it's really funny. I was telling Patrick and Katie before we started the show that I've done like this major quick change. Like, this is where all my stuff was for my sale tonight, and I had to quick get that out of there and move everything around, put out my same, and it totally changed angles. So if you saw me earlier today, I'm like in a different angle, so it looks new and fresh.
Well, it does, because I was looking at that little riser, and when I watch your sales, I know you've got a riser, and I'm like, but we're looking differently right now. So I was like, okay, yeah. But you do have a very nice display behind you. So that was pulled in specifically for this discussion. It wasn't there even earlier this evening. So, okay. So we'll let you go ahead and start your little, show us what you want to show us. I see.
Yeah. I was trying to listen and see if I missed something. Anyway, so I will share with you. Actually, I pulled some things that I just picked up. I'm going to show you my newest things to my collection first. They've been sitting here at the studio. They never made it on the mantle. So if you watch tomorrow, you will not see these items because they're brand new. Just found. I'm looking to see if there's anything else. So I love, if you follow me on my channel and you come to my live sales, you would already know this. I'm a sucker for these angels. I absolutely adore these angels. And there are so many different makers of these particular angels. This one I think is, who is this one? This was Napco. And I found this recently at an estate sale, and I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was crazy cheap, which is why I picked it up, grabbed it, and ran out the door. It felt like that anyway, because these, the St. Patrick's Day angels, they can sell in the $30 range. So I picked this up probably, I think if I remember, it was in the early teens that I paid for this, which I thought was a crazy bargain. And I grabbed it and I was really excited about it. So I have her, she's brand new. And there were a whole bunch of different makers. I think Lefton made some, Napco made some. I'm trying to think of what, pretty much all the, major brands that would have made one. I sold a small. Oh yeah, good job, Benny. Anyway, so I also, I didn't, yeah, I did. I brought it. So this is not one of the new pieces. I say one thing and then I do another. I was going to show you two new pieces to my collection, but I want to show you the first piece first because I'm funny that way. It's chronological. So this is my very first piece of Belleek. And I actually left it the exact way that I have it displayed in my home. So I have the vase, and then I picked up this little 4H button. And then in the top, I have displayed this vintage Binney and Smith crayons. Are they crayons or chalk? Chalk crayons. So they're chalk. And I just have that displayed like that. So I kind of liked how that just gave a little extra different look to it. But this was my very first piece of Belleek.
Belleek is wonderful.
Well, I had seen Belleek all over the place, but and of course I was always attracted to it because of the shamrocks on it. But every time I would get to an estate sale, I would go and I would see the Belleek, and they had retail prices on it. Maybe I still don't know that much about Belleek. So to me, they were just like, my eyes would pop out of my head and I'm like, I can't buy that. So this particular estate sale had all kinds of things listed for sale in pictures, and they had all these different Belleek pieces. And I got there and all the Belleek was gone except this one. And the reason was there's a little chippy out of the top. But I grabbed it. I was so excited to have it. I don't even see it. As a matter of fact, I could move my little, I don't see it. I don't notice it. So it's not even a big deal, but I could have moved that over to that side to cover it. But again, I don't even notice it when it's sitting up there, and I love it. It's great. It was my first piece. It's awesome. So that's my first piece of Belleek. But I said all that to say that I also then picked up these, which I had to read it again because it has a different Belleek label on it. But I picked up these pieces of Belleek recently. And they're in great condition. So, and I was shocked. I think, I just took a price tag off of it. This one was marked 10, and I don't know if I paid 10. I probably didn't pay 10 for it. I probably got it half price, which is shocking that it was there because usually people snatch this stuff up like crazy. So I probably paid $5 a piece for these.
So since St. Patrick's Day is so hard to find, what condition are you willing to go to add some of these pieces to your collection? Because you just mentioned that Belleek had a little chip and it didn't bother you. And the nice thing is you could turn that around and it's really not a big deal, but I'm curious about that.
I, as a collector, I don't know how many are out there like me. I'm a little odd in many ways. Chips, crazing, cracks, none of that bothers me. As a matter of fact, some of that actually makes the piece more appealing to me because it shows its age. And to me, I like old things. So I like that it shows its age. So I guess it depends on how it affects it aesthetically. For instance, if I bought this and her shamrock there was cracked in half, yeah, I probably wouldn't pick that up if I saw her like that. If the half of the halo in the front is off, I probably wouldn't pick that up. Because I mean, while I could maybe possibly fix it, you know, I'm thinking about Dee from the Thrill of the Thrift, who does miracles with things. I probably am not going to. And to me, that affects the look of it. So I probably wouldn't do it. But if a wing was broken and repaired, even if I saw the repair, that wouldn't bother me at all. You know, if the spaghetti was broken off or whatever, that wouldn't bother me at all. So it depends on the aesthetic of it, how, you know, how it looks, how much it's marred the thing. And I guess it also depends on the item. So speaking of Dee, I'm going to show you some things here that, oh my God, Dee's the best. So last year, maybe 2 years ago, I don't even remember what it was, she had these things she showed in a haul, and I happened to see the haul right away as she posted it, and I immediately, like immediately shot her an email. I want those. What do you want? And she emailed me back and she says, I knew you were going to do that. But she never told me. And I'm waiting. I'm like, don't yank my chain. What do you want for them? And I'd say 3 or 4 days later, they showed up in the mail. She's such a smart. Yes. So she sent them to me, and they are these amazing little leprechauns. I have no idea who made them. I think they're made in Japan, and I don't know if one of them had a sticker on them at one time or not, but I'm positive that they're made in Japan. But these are all, I mean, like the hats are coming off. The shoe on one was coming off. This one, the hat, like, I mean, I could probably try to repair these. I'm not sure, you know, I'm a little leery of doing it, but there were 2 like that guy. And then 2 of the other guy with the pipe. And I have never, ever seen these before.
I haven't either.
No.
And I absolutely love them. They are probably my favorite items in my entire collection. And they mean even more because Dee sent them to me. So, I mean, they just got it all going on. So I love them. And so if I saw something like this guy, he's falling apart, you know, whatever, that would, like, you never see these. So I absolutely would have bought it. If he was missing his hat, I would have bought him. I think even if I think he could have been missing half of his arm. I mean, seriously, he could have been in really rough shape, and I probably would have picked him up because I just never see them.
Well, things like that are just begging to be saved and cared for and loved in some way because they're so unique.
Now, similar to those, I actually saw these. I think this was on Instagram. I don't buy a lot of things on Instagram because I just don't. I have issues with the whole buying thing. I love all the people that sell on there and buy on there, but I just can't figure out how to do it well. Anyway, I did find these and I did purchase them and I love them. And I'm pretty sure that they were on Instagram and not on eBay, although it's possible. But look at them. There's 3 of them. Those 2 are the best. You can't hardly see this one's face. But they have little shamrocks on their hats. Aren't they great? Look at those. And they are made in Japan. They got their little stickers on the bottom. But again, those are something that I never see. So I jumped on those as soon as I saw them. And I can't remember.
For both those and for the little leprechauns with the pipes, what would they originally have been sold for? Would they have been toys? Would they have been designed for decor?
I think they would have been decor pieces. That's my opinion. I don't know that for sure. But I'm pretty sure they would have been decor pieces because I don't think a child would have played with that. Now these, I don't know, but I still think they probably were decor. But I don't remember precisely what I paid for these, but it's not uncommon for me to see items like this at like $20 a piece. These kind of things that you don't see very often. So I may have splurged. I really don't remember how much I paid for those. I was going to pay whatever they wanted.
If you love it, sometimes the price is irrelevant.
Yep.
Whatever you want. So I got those. I was showing you those. Oh,
No,
so
we had
then,
drifted away. I don't know if you still have any Belleek, but we drifted away from that. I just had a question. You talked about condition, but for people that know about Belleek, and several people in the chat were commenting that their family had collections of Belleek. They very clearly date stamp everything. So do you ever get into an issue where you would prefer to have an older piece or around the time of your mother's birth, or is it's just Belleek and you don't care? It's got a clover on it. You're buying it.
again, I don't collect Belleek because every time I find Belleek, it's usually too expensive for me. So when I find it and it's a price that I am willing to pay, I pick it up. But these three that you saw, those are the only Belleek pieces that I have.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So none of that actually means anything to me. I don't know anything about the dates. I did notice that there were different marks on those compared to the vase that I had. So, I'm sure, like Franciscan, they marked all their things. You could always date things by the type of mark on it. But I don't know. I don't care. I seriously, I don't really care. It's just, to me, it's about the look. It has a shamrock on it, and I like it. So that's all it takes. Speaking of, it has a shamrock on it, and I like it, and that's all it takes. I got the biggest kick out of these at an estate sale. This was from a teacher's estate sale, and she had made these to decorate her bulletin board, and I couldn't snatch them up fast enough. I adore them. And I just, this time around, if you watch my video tomorrow, I just had them sitting up behind on my mantle, but they are such a thing that you could actually like take them and make like a garland out of them or something. So, I mean, I'm always looking for vintage St. Patrick's Day in unusual and different places. This is, nobody looked there. I got all kinds of great stuff from that teacher's sale because nobody looked in her files of teacher stuff. And that's where I found all the good stuff. So I have those. Another unusual thing to pick up that I used this year, they're new to me this year in my St. Patrick's Day display, were these 4-H things that they made, just simply because it has the clover in the middle. And they were green. So I grabbed those, and they look cool. And again, I may be the odd man out, but this speaks to me because of all the patina on it, because it looks old. I love that. All that discoloration, that I love that. I'm trying to read. Remember those bygone days? Oh yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I can still see my teacher with the different holiday themed items and the stapler cracked all the way open. You know how they bend, and she would be banging the stapler against the bulletin board, putting all those fun things up.
Also, yeah, Cyndi, I missed a question. I commented about the Belleek being with different stamps, and I asked if you ever collected near your mother's birth. Somebody's actually, Cheryl from Canada, is asking what year your mother was born.
She was born in the mid 1930s.
Very good.
So back to that teacher's estate, though, you guys, if you're looking for interesting places to find vintage stuff that nobody else looks, now everybody will be looking there. I'm telling you, that teacher's estate, she had, like, first of all, nobody wanted to take the time to look through her files. She had boxes and boxes and boxes of files of bulletin boards and whatever. I found vintage Halloween books, vintage Halloween decorations. I found, of course, the St. Patrick's Day stuff in there. I mean, Valentine's Day. I found so many wonderful, and some of it was valuable stuff in these boxes. And I was there on the last day and the last hour of the sale, and nobody looked there. So keep that in mind if you ever happen upon a teacher sale. There's treasure. There's treasure to be had. So here's another one of my little guys. I bought him in Adamstown, Pennsylvania last year when I was there. I found him. I think I paid about $15 for this little guy, and was skipping to the register with him as well. But some other unusual things to use, like if you're looking for vintage things to put in your decor, like I have this out displayed. This is just an old ornament. It might be a shiny bright, but it's just a one-off that I had, and it's green. So, yes, dig in the boring boxes. Absolutely right.
Yes.
Well, that goes for all ephemera as well. I can't say I've specifically looked for teacher ephemera, but just in general, somebody opens a box, they just see papers. They'll usually put the lid back on it and walk away. And sometimes you just dig down there, and I found things that not only were fun, but in some cases, I found some stuff that was very valuable. And if you just like the box, oh, you can have the box for $1. And then all of a sudden, you just have all this fun stuff in there. And sometimes just digging through it's half the fun.
Yeah, digging is the best. I found that at my first estate sale. There was a bunch of
I
sewing
just
items.
watched that, Katie. I actually got halfway through it before we came on here about it. So yeah, that looks like you had a really good time at that estate sale. Estate sales are my favorite.
They're fun.
I don't even go to thrift stores very often anymore unless there's really nothing else for me to do, or there happens to be one right there, where I'm at, because I go to an estate sale and I 9 times out of 10 will find something good that I want to purchase. Whereas the thrift store is hit or miss. And that's because I'm not a typical reseller. I mean, I'm like the rest of you guys are the same way. I go for vintage items. I like the vintage, and there just really isn't a whole lot of the vintage in the thrift store. So estate sales, flea markets, antique stores, those are the places where I go to find stuff. But here's another thing that I just picked up recently. So you can find things for your St. Patrick's decor that really are not St. Patrick's Day. This is just a big celery label with the shamrock on it. And that goes
I saw that on Instagram, Cyndi. That was amazing. I almost got one for myself because I love the graphics on that.
And it says lucky too, which is very fun. This, speaking of another thing that was not meant for St. Patrick's Day, excuse me. This is from my family's estate, and it was actually full. And I'll show you here. So I popped a hole in the lid and drained it. But it's a Tom Collins mixer with the shamrock. And so I love the fact that when the bottle's green and it has a shamrock on it, and it's from my family's estate, so that adds a little extra to it, but it gives a lot of height to my display. So I love that. That's one of my favorites. It was an accidental type thing to pick up. So,
and for those who joined in late, we're at the halfway mark. When is your video going to be running tomorrow that will show some of how you're displaying some of these pieces?
Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, the video drops. It's all about my decor. It's not a very long video, actually, because really all I'm doing is showing my mantle, and I don't even, because I knew I was talking about stuff here, I didn't really go into detail there. So, and I do send people back here from that video, so hopefully they can play off of each other. But I also picked, and it's funny, I left the price tags on these, and I'm funny that way too. I do leave the price tags on things when I display them. I always like to know what I paid for them. If it's hidden, I leave them on there. I picked up, I'm pretty sure that these two were also, I'm looking around. I think I brought all of them. These are all Lefton little girl. And I picked them up at a little local thrift store. Actually, two of them I picked up there. The third one, I don't know, maybe I did. It's the same sticker. Why one was priced so cheaper, I don't know. Anyway, I'll show you the stickers on the bottom. These probably sell $15 and up for these, depending on when and where and how many are listed. For these little guys too, because again, St. Patrick's Day is hard to find. And this one does have its Lefton sticker on it, but it also has this $3 sticker from the thrift store where I bought it. So that was exciting. I got that one. And then this one also, they had marked $3. But this one, I paid 50 cents for this one.
Yeah, excellent.
That
now, when you've come across, particularly, I guess the estate sales probably more than anything, have you ever had the luck where you found another St. Patrick's Day collector where you've kind of like landed into an entire collection, or do you typically only find like one or two things?
That would be like a dream. Yeah, no. I've never come across anything like that where somebody has collected a bunch of St. Patrick's. Typically, at least I don't think that I have. Now I'm second guessing myself. Usually it's Christmas or Halloween occasionally, and that's rare too to find a Halloween collector. I don't think I've ever seen a St. Patrick's Day. A Belleek collector, I've seen a lot of estates with the Belleek, like I mentioned before, but not specifically St. Patrick's Day, or I probably would buy it all.
That would be a dream, but it would be a dangerous dream because
and it would be dangerous because usually I placate my spending by, oh, well, I'll resell that. Make money back on it. But yeah, I wouldn't part with any of it, I'm sure. Anyway, so those are all little left-in girlies. This is an unusual thing that I picked up at some estate sale that they had in a box. Can you see that there's a little shamrock? Or yeah, It's just a three clover. And I love that. I use these little flower frogs. I have all kinds of different ones, different sizes and whatever, with the little pins.
Oh, I've never seen the half one. That's cool.
No, the half one's fantastic.
That's an interesting, fun shape. It actually would have connected here to another side to make a full circle, but they can be taken apart. But I have this on my mantle, and I actually had displayed it, and you see this side, and you think, oh, that's, looks like New Orleans. It's not very exciting until you turn it over. And it has shamrocks. So I display it on my mantle like that.
Excellent.
But I also have another one on my mantle, and I didn't bring it because I just had the one, brought the one. But I'll put this in there too. So this is kind of fun because it's different. It's not something that you see every day.
And I remember those Irish blessing cards growing up.
Well, do you see? I don't remember seeing those.
My best friend has an Irish blessing knitted blanket on his bed, and it's just so soft.
That would be cool. Here's another piece of decor that I brought to show you how I display things. So I have, that's one of those little Christmas knee hugger elves. And this Patrick sent to me. So I have that in there with him in this little green cup. So that adds a little bit of height, gives him a little place to hang out, and he's got his cute little shamrock. This is probably actually a package topper. So I was on the Duo Dive, for those people that are watching that don't know this, a while back doing the cupcake picks and whatever. And it's funny, a lot of what we were talking about, sometimes I have brain farts. I do it all the time. Probably maybe a third or whatever of what I was showing was probably like this. This is a package topper. But any of these little things like this, I just go gaga over. I love them.
See, when I found that and I got that, I knew I was going to send it to you. I thought it was a floral pick because you talked about those too. So I'm like, oh, right. It's wire. So it definitely wasn't a cupcake. So I didn't even think about it being a package topper.
Yeah, and when I was talking on your show, I kind of lumped everything that wasn't a cupcake pick into the floral pick thing. But yeah, probably a good portion of them.
I like the idea of the tie. Now that one's a 3-leaf clover. Do you like them more, or do you go after the 4-leaf clovers? What's your opinion on that?
The 3-leaf clover is way more common, and it probably speaks more. It probably says St. Patrick's Day to me more than a 4-leaf clover, although I don't pass on a 4-leaf clover. Like that, and like the 4-H ones were 4-leaf clovers too. I like those, but I think that the 3-leaf is definitely more common. This was a gift I gave myself last year. I like her better even than that one I picked up this year, because I think her shamrocks are a little more pronounced. And look at her little face. But I think I paid $35 for her, and she even has a repair. So these little angels are the shamrock angels are harder to find. They're out there, but they're going to be more valuable. Let's put it that way. You're going to pay up for those. Excuse me. So also in my decor, and I brought it just as it was on my mantle, speaking of the cupcake picks. So we have this little uranium glass coaster there. piece. I think that's a coaster, Mr. Coaster King. Am I right?
Yes, that's what it looks like.
And then I have a little shamrock. I can never point to things. Cookie cutter there. And then those are all little cupcake picks that I have just sitting down inside there. Yeah, they're fun. This one doesn't even have the bottom of his pick. I don't care what condition they're in. if
Now,
they're
this actually, you're triggering something which I wouldn't have thought of. To me, we are going to call things different things, but to me, that would have been a cookie cutter for the suits of cards. That's a
you're
club.
probably right. No,
So
you're
then,
that
so does that introduce you to, like, do you collect anything where because a lot of times you find the mix matched where you don't have an entire set, you know, coasters, nut cups, all that kind of stuff. Do you do things in the suits of cards? Do you do clubs as well? Because I don't actually know what the difference between a club and a clover is.
I don't know. They look really similar.
Yeah. I mean, when you showed that, I'm like, oh, that's a club. And I'm like, well, wait, what's the difference between a club and a clover?
Right. I don't know what the answer to that is, but it looks like a clover to me, so it goes in my collection.
No, it looks ideal. I mean, I'm just curious how often because I would think the suits of cards you would come across a lot.
I do find those a lot. As a matter of fact, I have
black as opposed to green. So
I have a couple of glass pieces. Actually, it's in the video tomorrow in my decor that I believe were probably part of a bridge set that were the club type things, but they're clovers, so they're in my display. Now, this actually came from, this is a family piece, and this came from Ireland. When I was 4 years old, my family went to Ireland. I don't remember the trip at all, but this was one of the souvenirs that my mom brought back. There were two of them. She brought back one for my sister and one for me. And the funny thing is that we never got them. They were so important to my mom that she hung on to them and had them set aside. So someday that we would get, so when we were cleared out the estate, my sister and I got to pick our shillelaghs, so that we had it. But that came from the estate. That's actual Irish. And then these are something that I'll pick up if I find them. A lot of people made these little crochet shamrocks. And I'll grab those in part because these were from my mom's jewelry box.
Aw.
So I will put, I put those in like little dishes or stuff on my, I was trying to show you where you could see it, like on my display. They'll just be sitting in a little dish or something. And I actually leave them on the paper, although I might take them off. You never know what kind of display idea crosses my, like these, all these little chenille ones. I would love to have even more of those, but don't they look fun together in this little soda?
Now, what would those have been? Are they have wires on them, or are they just wrapped into themselves?
This one has a pin on it. So I feel like I saw one on a package one time, and I don't remember. This one also has a pin. So I think they were made to wear, is what I think that they were.
Now,
but
can you explain the difference between a chenille stem and a pipe cleaner, or are they basically the same thing?
They're very, very similar. A chenille stem might be a little, especially when we're talking about vintage, because nowadays I think that it's kind of just more, they're softer nowadays than they were in the past. In the past, pipe cleaners were legitimate pipe cleaners. They weren't crafting items, and they were thinner and more harder. Whereas a chenille piece was softer, and this is what I think sometimes they call bump chenille, where it's bigger in parts. So you see it's thinner here and it's thicker in this area. So that's kind of what that is. Again, I'm not really an expert in that either.
I think Cyndi and I are about the same age. And so when we were growing up, even the colored ones that you used for crafts were still being called pipe cleaners. But then it got transitioned away from that because that was politically incorrect to introduce smoking paraphernalia into a child's, into kindergarten.
What do they call them now?
So they started calling the chenille sticks. And so that's
really?
So initially they were interchangeable, but then then like as you get
Interesting.
the more recent ones, it's like that big fluffy one that you showed. Then the
Right.
chenille started being a lot thicker and dimensional. You would never use it to clean anything. So I think once upon a time they were interchangeable, but they wanted to stop introducing tobacco products into a Cottage house.
Do you remember the little candy cigarettes?
Oh, absolutely.
I was never allowed
have these-
to have those.
Yeah, amazing what we were allowed to deal with as a kid, and we all survived.
Right. This was really a fun piece, not St. Patrick's Day, but it's like a little soda, a glass in a little holder. I just thought that was the coolest thing. It reminds me of the soda fountain, and look what I paid for it. I leave the price tags on; they make me happy.
But that's a neat way. Just get the little patina. You still get the green and the patina.
Yeah. And then Katie, actually our tin lady, would appreciate these somewhat. Now this tin, for a collector like you, Katie, probably wouldn't be interested, but I don't care. This tin is not in the greatest shape, but it's green.
Oh, I
It's very
love that.
good. And I actually use it on my mantle. This guy sits on it, or at least this year he was sitting on it. So, I use it like a little riser. And then this is just some little pixie elf I picked up somewhere. And these even are kind of hard to find and very pricey. And I probably got him for a good deal because his leg was repaired.
I was just going to say, I'm like, I can't imagine those surviving in perfect condition with those legs splayed out like that.
Yeah.
They're just crying to be broken off.
Is he a treasure craft piece?
I have no idea. There's a copyright thing on the bottom. Let me see what else it says after that. There's really not a lot of, it says copyright, and then I swear there's an O after it. I don't know. And my phone never likes to focus. So yeah, it's right here. And I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I know that Treasure Craft made some, but it's an elf. I bought it. Reminds me of a leprechaun. So it's not a leprechaun. It's a pixie. He's got a little leaf on his head, but he's green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he goes in the collection.
He goes perfectly with the leprechaun.
Perfect.
And then another tin that I have, and this actually has the stuff inside, is this Watkins ointment tin, and I love it for the color. So I have it up on my shelf. It's heavy. If you find them like this, Katie, do you clean them out? Do you take the stuff out of them, or do you just leave them as is?
So I leave them as is, and I am someone that is a little bit wacky too with the damage kind of concept, because a lot of tin collectors like things to be mint. I am one of those weird people that do not. I like them to have the rust and the crust and the dust on them, because I like that it shows their age and that they were used. I mean, I still want to be able to see the graphic, but if I can see it well enough, I will definitely pick it up. And I love those tins that have the clovers on them. I don't actually clean them out unless there's something dangerous inside. You do have to be careful with older medical tins. Sometimes they can have actual cocaine or different things in them. So you need to make sure that they're free of that if you're going to keep them around, particularly if you have pets. But I usually just leave them as is. And I have a grind compound tin that's got the 4-leaf clover on it. It's Clover brand. So I don't know if you've seen any of those, but they're pretty fantastic.
I think I saw yours, but I don't think I've ever seen one in real life. But again, some things I'm like figurines and these little guys, like I will jump on like regardless of price. But other things like, it's like, for instance, the cupcake picks, I know what I can pay for a cupcake pick. So it depends on what it is. If it's a more common cupcake pick, if I already have it, I probably am going to be more picky about the price. I won't jump all over it. If it's something I've never seen before, who knows?
Now, do you ever find yourself in a situation, because, and there's nothing wrong with what obviously there's nothing wrong with anybody, what anyone does, but if you find a piece like, say, that elf that had the broken leg, if you find another one and it has a good price, but it's in perfect condition, would you add both of them to your collection, or would you retire the broken one and then have only the perfect one?
No, they'd both be in my collection.
Okay.
They would be happy together. They would be friends.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, I know there are certain collections where people do that, and there's other things that I collect too that right now I'm trying to, that's what my mind was doing, you know, it's like, which thing? Because I know there are some things that I do collect and keep around that I have what we call placeholders until I find something better where I might, you know, swap it out. But no, the St. Patrick's Day stuff, I don't really care what condition it is.
When I think what's related to that, and sometimes would depend on the answer, is like in my case, would have placeholders, and the collection can only fill a certain space. So when I find another piece, well, I have to retire something. So of course I'm going to retire the one that's the same, that's, you know, in less condition. What do you do with your St. Patrick's Day items when it's not St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, I'm laughing because when you were saying that, I was thinking, have I told you lately that I'm a hoarder? So
I think you have a lot of comrades in arms in on the channels. There's nothing wrong with that.
Very certain things. Well, if you've watched my channel for a while, I've been trying to get in the habit of, if there are a lot of things that I see out that I pick up, and I'm not talking about St. Patrick's Day stuff, but I'll see them and I really like them, and I pick up one here and I pick up one there, and all of a sudden it becomes this little collection. And I don't really have room for all of these things. So what I've gotten into the habit of doing, thank God I'm a reseller, is that I will display them in my house as a collection for a limited period of time. I will enjoy them and then I will resell them. That's not going to happen with the St. Patrick's Day stuff. So, I mean, I might, as the collection grows, I might get a little bit more selective about stuff, you know, about what I'm adding. But seriously, if I found one of these, there's no way it's going to stay there. It's coming with me. I don't care how many I have. All right. So another thing that you can do if you can't find that sort of stuff, and most of us cannot, like unusual things. Like, so this is just a little locker tag that I found somewhere and has the number 17 on it, which of course is the day of St. Patrick's Day. So I picked that up and put that.
It's kind of abbreviating leprechaun at the top.
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah, right.
I connected the LPR. I didn't even connect the 17. I'm like, wow, she's stretching. It has an L on it. It says leprechaun.
So this little guy I had in my collection. There are a few pieces that I picked up from you, Patrick, back when we did the Comfy Trusty meetup. Mm-hmm. And this may have been one of them. I don't remember, but because I know I got a couple of elf pieces. I didn't bring everything tonight. But anyways, this little guy I had for a while, and I wound up finding this one the other day. So now I have two. I only need another one, and now I have a collection of these. Look, they're different. Isn't that fun? So yeah, that's fun. They're napka wear, both of those guys.
Make a little garden for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, they need a little garden, right? So another unusual thing that I found, and something that people can do themselves. This is a little watercolor in a little teeny weeny frame. Now it is watercolor. It's not an actual. It's not actual shamrocks. I looked at this over and over and over again because I was like, how did they do that? But you could actually frame, like press and frame a little clover, you know, 4-leaf clover, or a 3, you know, the regular clover. Mm-hmm. A little frame. That'd be a cute little decor item for you.
And I will say, folks, check old books, because we have an old bookstore down the street from where I grew up called San Marco Books, and I would go in there all the time, and they had wonderful old green books, which of course some of them might actually be poisonous, as we learned. But if you flip through the pages, you might find pressed flowers, and a couple of times I've been lucky to find pressed 4-leaf clovers. So definitely check your old books for those kinds of things.
I know as a kid, I pressed 4-leaf clovers into books at my family's home. I don't know if I actually forgot about that until you said it. So I don't know if I wound up with any of those books or not. But I remember there was, you know, when we had all the time in the world as a kid, I went out into the side yard and just dug through the clover to find 4-leaf clovers. I found several of them. Actually, that was one of the trivia questions tonight. Let me tell you what the answer to it is. The question was, you guys didn't know you're going to get trivia tonight too, did you? Where is it? It's a really good one. Okay, so what are the odds of finding a 4-leaf clover was one of the trivia questions. 1 in 10,000.
Wow.
1 in 10,000. So here I am as a kid, nothing but time.
Thinking there's got to be one in this little patch.
I found some. Actually, I found them, and then I put them in the book. This little piece here, which was hand painted by somebody. She signed it on the bottom. Isn't that cool? So I picked that up recently. That's a new edition, but I think I've shown that before. But hand painted. But I have it displayed on my mantle with this little guy in it.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Isn't that cute? Look at him. So I think that I who knows what he was, he's probably a Christmas thing. But I'm betting was a package topper at one point in time, just a little package tie-on thing, and just absolutely adorable. So, if I ever found more of them, he'd go in a different type of display, but he sits there on my mantle like that. But another thing you guys can look for, we were talking about unusual things that have shamrocks on them. I found this little Irish coffee tin. Isn't that fun? So that goes on my mantle. And I love the fact that it's yellowing. So it's got a patina on it for age, even though it has a barcode. So I have no idea how old it is, but it definitely looks older. So I love that.
Now, there was a comment earlier in the chat, and I apologize that I lost who did it, but they were commenting when you showed the label that had the clover on the label, the canning label, that they would put that in their kitchen. Now, do you theme out your decorations? Do you put the food items in your kitchen to decorate, or did they all get mixed together on your mantles and all your different things?
They all go with wherever my St. Patrick's Day stuff is. But in part, that's because I don't have any room to decorate in my kitchen. My house was built during a time, I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember the date of it. I'm trying to think. In the 80s, I think it was built, but it was during a time when they wanted everything to be functional. And so they didn't leave blank walls or any space. Like I couldn't bring in a cool piece of vintage or antique furniture that would go in the kitchen and put in my kitchen because there was absolutely no space left for any of that. So I can't decorate my kitchen. Not really. There's not a whole lot of room. So that's part of the reason why.
Okay.
But typically I just put it all together. But here's another way. Like I have all those wonderful little cupcake picks. And these are all very similar ones. Some of those you gave me, Patrick. I think those ones on the back. And I just put them in this. This actually came from my parents.
That's a fun way to display them.
This is probably a very, very common little picture, but it came from the estate, so I keep it. This you sent me. I love this. That's really cute. Pretty sure you sent me. Did you send me that?
I don't think I sent you that one. I sent the ones where the little pipe. Yeah, those.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's cute. Grab that.
Clear glass is a great way to display things of color like that.
Oh, I love it. I love to have them like that because, and there's another thing. If you guys watch my video tomorrow, you'll see how other ways that I display my little cupcake picks. I have different kinds of flower frogs that I also put them in because I have a lot of cupcake picks and I just always try to find different ways to put them. Another thing that I look for, and if you watch my videos, you may see that I'm always digging in ribbon and wrapping paper boxes at estate sales because I also collect vintage Christmas gift tags. So that's where you're going to find them there. And I also, and this is because of our friend Tarnished Treasures, I look for really cool vintage ribbon spools. She uses them in assemblage pieces, sculptures, and me, I have not yet, but that's why I started picking them up. But I don't think even if that was even a thought in my mind, I would have left these sitting on the shelf.
Oh, they're great.
Aren't those fabulous? And that's the ribbon that's there. So I always find a way to put those in my display. And so I got the white one and the green one. And the beauty of this is that I probably would have paid at least 10 times what I bought them for.
Amazing.
Wow, 50 cents. That's a bargain. And those make great risers too, because you can stand them, upright, or you can put them flat and stack things on top.
But as
Right.
most of our viewers are aware, that how many estate sales do you go to where you don't find any of your St. Patrick's Day items? So yeah, you got a great deal on those one items, but
That never happened.
you average out to the 100 of different estate sales you've gone to that didn't get anything. Those were really expensive. So it all balances out.
Right. That's true. That's very true. And then I found this. This is a newer one, and I just put that in there. So I'm always looking for that kind of stuff to add to.
Now, for things like that, I like the idea of it as a riser. Do you ever take for the vintage ones? Would you ever take the ribbon out and like display it in an amount, or do you actually prefer it to be on the roll?
I like it on the roll.
Okay.
If I were to ever make art out of them, first of all, this is just too unique and too special to take apart. I mean, this is a full spool of this vintage ribbon. I would never mess with that. But let's say I found something like this that had, or maybe it had like just a little bit, it had been used. There was just a little bit left on the roll or whatever, and it was kind of hard to see. I don't know, maybe. Or maybe I would wrap something else around it and try to, see if I had enough to fill just the outside so it looked like it was full. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do that. But no, I love to use vintage things in my artwork, but I'm very funny about, I don't want to use something that has intrinsic value or has survived forever and then I use it in art.
Right.
Because I might like the art, but many of you have probably come across different things in the Goodwill that somebody thought they were making a piece of artwork out of, and they took some amazing china and did something to it. And art is in the eye of the beholder, and I would just really hate to do something like that. I don't have a problem, like for instance, and I've done it and I've sold it before, where I would take something like this and then make a sculpture out of it, because I'm not damaging the item itself. They could always pull the stuff
reversible.
Right. But I do a lot of altered books and I do a lot of junk journals, and I'm not one of those people that can take a 100-year-old book and gut it. Can't do it. I'm always looking for the 100-year-old books that are falling apart, though.
Yes.
That don't have covers or whatever that are.
Because then you're giving it a new life. It's really its life is death at this point, and so you're trying to keep it from going into a recycling bin or just disappearing. And
somebody would throw it away. The family would pitch it. I've gotten a number of different things I use that way. But back onto the St. Patrick's Day thing. So I actually have a kind of a small collection of these little bottles. It started out because my family had not these colored ones, but had I think they put alcohol in them. They were in amber colored bottles. We had some hanging on the wall, and so my sister and I divvied those out. And anyway, it's just, I wound up, every time I would see them, I would pick them up. So I have a whole bunch of them: blue ones, purple ones, green ones, different sizes. So I have these, but the green one made it into the St. Patrick's Day display. And then somebody made, this is some artisan made, I don't think it was mass produced, little shamrock that somebody either used as a basket tie on, that goes back to the Longaberger stuff, or as a little package tie on. I just stuck some little goofy thing. It was St. Patrick's Day, but I don't know how old he is in the top. So, all kinds of different unusual ways to just use your decor. And then this is an old uranium glass measuring cup. This is from my family's estate. This is the very first piece of uranium glass I ever had. When we were going through it, I told my sister, I'm taking that. What that? And then inside, well, this guy doesn't really fit. Which one's not like the others? This one is. This is just some little pipe guy that I found. He had a green hat. He reminded me of a leprechaun, so I put him in there. And then this little guy. He's Pinocchio, but he's green. So he went in there and he matches the other one. And then again, this guy is not St. Patrick's Day, but he's unusual, little cork thing. So he went in there. So yeah, who knows what all I, put up there. If it's green, it might show up in my St. Patrick's Day display.
Well, really anything could be a leprechaun if you just use your imagination a little bit.
That's
absolutely.
Right. Who really knows what a leprechaun looks like?
Right.
That's true.
Now, for some of the things that you're showing, like you said, you're commenting, this is how you displayed it this year, and that's what people will be able to see your video tomorrow. Do you do the same thing year after year for the pieces that you've had, or do you tend to purposely reinvent them each year so they're displayed slightly differently?
I do change it up. It's possible that some things might end up in a similar display, but I change it up for a couple reasons. One, if I haven't told you lately, my memory is what did I have for breakfast? Yeah, so I don't know that I could even remember what I did the year before. But they all get put after I take them down, they get put in a box. And so then when I pull them out of the box, they're just I mean, I don't put them away in a display. Like, for instance, I'm not going to package that little guy, this one. I'm not going to package it like that because it could damage it. So it'll get wrapped separately. And then next year, who knows how it'll end up. Plus, because I film videos, I don't want it to be the same because I want people to come back and look at the video. So I do try to change things up. And then I move in new things, I incorporate new things. I incorporate new ways to display them with, the different display pieces that go along with them. So yeah, I do all that kind of stuff. So this piece that I'm going to show you now, there was a video on my channel a few weeks ago, I think, where I said something about I was overwhelmed by leprechauns, or I don't know, something about leprechauns on the thing. And then there's a whole bunch of these in the background. I never knew just how many of these there could possibly be. And I got this from Patrick, from you at the Comfy Trusty meetup thing. This is awesome. He's a decanter. He's actually a music box. He doesn't work, but that is what he is. So he would actually have played at one point in time. But I never knew that there are so many of these. Now, I've come across them since, and I don't pick them up because I don't have room to display all of these guys. But I do love him, and he is great for adding height in my display. And so he kind of goes in the back with that bottle, the Tom Collins mix, to add some height at the back of my displays. But anyway, so yeah, that's all the goodies that I brought for you tonight. And that's just a smattering, guys. My mantle is still full.
Yeah, I felt bad when you said you were going to have to dismantle some of it to do this duo dive. I'm like, oh, we're like making you destroy your display the day before St. Patrick's Day. So I'm glad you still have quite a bit left to enjoy at home.
And Cyndi, I brought something in honor of you to show.
I never knew he did that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, there is a wonderful, Bing Crosby St. Patrick's Day. This is the 33 1/3 from 1949. They had several pressings of this. I believe there's another one at 1956. The original ones are on the shellac disc, but if you find this one, you can play it on a standard record player because it's 33 1/3. But it's just a really fun collection of sort of those old Irish folk songs and some great St. Patrick's Day music. So I brought this to show you in case you don't have it. And
I love that. I've never seen that before. And I love Bing Crosby. As a matter of fact, I love his record. There's the one that he has with the Mele Kalikimaka and Christmas in Killarney and all that. That's like one of my favorite things to play at Christmas time. I love it.
I love that one.
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Now, so you found something that you didn't know existed. Is there anything that you know of that is kind of like your holy grail? It's something that you're hunting for or really want to find in the wild? Anything in particular?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I usually don't remember. I usually don't remember that I want something until I see it again.
Yep. I understand that.
I need
100%.
that. No, I can't think. I'm always looking for these, these little angels with the shamrocks, different ones, because they have a lot of different ones, and they have the boys with the shamrocks too. So I'm always looking for that. I wouldn't say it's a grail thing. It's just kind of one of those things that I like to find. But yeah, no, I have so much stuff that really, I just get excited when I see any of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you sharing it with us tonight. As we wrap things up, for those that came in later, why don't you go ahead and one last time mention what's happening on your channel tomorrow?
Okay. 9 a.m. tomorrow, I have a video that drops that shows all of my decor.
And that's Thursday the 17th for depending when people are watching this. So on St. Patrick's Day.
Yep. So if you can, I mean, obviously it'll be there. So if you don't catch this until later, you can go back and watch it after the fact. But yeah, it's a short video too, but I show all of my decor around my mantle and around my fireplace. So all of this stuff you'll see in situ the way I have it displayed at home. Yeah, so that's going on tomorrow. That'll be kind of St. Patrick's, get you in the festive.
Excellent. And what else do you do on your typically your channel or your arts channel? What's your schedule look like?
Typically, although this week has been so busy, typically on my art channel, I post my vlog on Fridays. I try to post over there once a week. It's usually on Fridays. Sometimes it's, it winds up getting out Saturday or Sunday, but honest to God, I haven't really done a whole lot this week other than it's crazy. So who knows?
That's Cyndi Duncan Arts, correct?
Cyndi Duncan Arts, yes. And then over on my Mimi's channel, I usually post about 3 times a week, but I have a live sale every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So that's the main thing that I do over there. And I usually post a couple other times. I do shop along videos, I do hauls, all of that sort of thing. So that's what's going on. And then Monday night, I'm going to be on Vintage Rescue Squad on Cult of Vintage channel. So
excellent.
You guys can check that out too.
Fantastic. All right. Well, appreciate again you joining us this evening. And of course, always happy to have Katie balancing out the other half of the duo dive. So what do you have coming up on your channel, Katie?
Oh, this is great, Patrick. So I just dropped a estate sale video. So if you missed that premiered at 8 o'clock tonight on my channel. And then, of course, I will be a part of Tales from the Triptych coming up this Sunday on Patrick's channel. And Patrick can tell a little bit about what he's doing because he's got something really special that I was honored to be a part of. So definitely check out the estate sale video, Tales from the Triptych, on Sunday at 8. And then, of course, I'll have some fun regular vinyl content coming out soon because I know I've been lacking a little bit of that vinyl content for you all.
There are not enough hours in the day for all of us to get all the content and all the things we want to get done. And the deadline for Sunday is racing toward me. So Sunday will be the next Tales from the Triptych. I will be hosting. It will be on this channel, and we are doing something a little bit differently. It happens to be March 25th is the 111th anniversary of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. And several years ago, I actually wrote a play which is based on first-hand accounts and the trial records for the trial after the event. And I'm having some of my fellow resellers are involved. And so Nate from Soul Nate and Katie, who are the other 2 parts of the triptych, they will be helping voice and put that play, make that play premiere on Sunday. And then also joining us are Catherine Young, George from the Antique Nomad, and Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop. So really appreciate all of them helping me bring my piece to life. There will be images that are going into it as well. I've already started writing the trigger warnings that some of the images might be disturbing and some of the content. If people don't know about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, it was the largest workplace loss of life in history until 9/11. So there's, it's not an uplifting story, but I found it interesting. I found it fascinating to write, and really appreciate everyone bringing that to life. So that will be 8 p.m. on Eastern on Sunday on the Trusty Huckster Mercantile channel.
Cool. That sounds very interesting, Patrick.
Yeah. So I hope people can join that, and hope everyone will enjoy it. So thanks again so much for joining us, Cyndi. And again, thanks for your helping me out, Katie, and appreciate all of you giving us all your time for the evening. So everyone have a great night, and thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster. Bye, everybody.
Bye.